Hi, Siri. I'm looking for a new podcast, one that preferably is hosted by a UF Hall of Famer, one that airs every weekday that would bring me everything I need to know about the Florida Gators, including news, analysis, and opinions. Siri, is there such a show?
Have you heard of PodUp with Matthews in the morning on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or any podcast platform?
Oh my gosh, why didn't I think of that? UF Hall of Famer Shane Matthews has a show every weekday. I'm gonna go check it out tomorrow. Thanks, Siri.
Good morning. It is a hump day edition, a Wednesday edition of PodUp with Matthews in the morning, coming to you live from the International Diamond Center Studios with locations across the state of Florida and right there in Celebration Point in the heart of Gator Nation. Today's program, we'll have JC, we'll have Mark Schlabach from ESPN get his thoughts on the upcoming football season. Congratulations to Pete Alonso. He is now your all-time leader in home runs for the Metropolitans. We'll go to the Titan More Hotline courtesy of Comfort Temp. We're joined by Johnny C.
Yeah.
JC, by the way.
Yeah.
I had a couple of texts come across the text line, Titan More text line. They wanted me to give you a hard time.
Oh, no.
Because you,
me,
Bianchi, and Buddy were the only no-shows from the 21 invited media boys at the Spurrier's Gridiron Grill 4th year anniversary. You're a no-show, JC.
What happened to Bianchi and Buddy? Man, I'll tell you.
Well, they live out of town.
Monday was a rough day.
You don't.
Well, Monday was a tough day. By the way, your Mets are 2-8 in the last 10.
My Mets, I don't give a damn about the Mets.
I regret that. I do. I do regret it. It's kind of like I spent the entire day chasing money, doing paperwork, talking to people on the phone. I just had nothing in the tank, bro. I just didn't want to just clean up and go back on again. I don't know what happened. It was a rough night, but it was a good day, but it was a hard day. Nevertheless, the Milwaukee Brewers have won 11 straight games. Just letting you know. 11
They're pretty good, and I couldn't name one player. Does Robert still play for them?
Probably. Gorman Thomas. I've had them on the money line and straight up against Pittsburgh the last two nights. I'm going for the sweep today. They will sweep the Pirates. They just murdered Paul Skeens yesterday. I don't know what's gotten into the Brewers. They have the best record in baseball, and they're running away with that. And then, what they do in the playoffs is a whole different season and story. But, man, right now, nobody is even close to playing the kind of baseball they are. Ben Shelton, our favorite former Gator tennis player, was going to play last night in Cincinnati against Roberto Bautista Agut in the round of 32. Rain washed them away, so Ben will play at 12:35. I'm holding him as the third leg of a 3-team parlay. Need him to win, and we'll cash that parlay.
You know what? Maybe just think of that.
Ben.
I think playing professional tennis may be harder than any sport. Now that I think about it,
it is absolutely.
Just think about it. I can't remember the last Gator, female or male. Was Lisa Raymond the last dominant player?
She may have been
from my days.
Yeah, that's true. And tennis is extremely difficult, especially when they have these afternoon to afternoon turnarounds on 2 consecutive days, playing in August anywhere in America because of the heat and so forth. I'll be at the U.S. Open in 2 weeks, and I'm going to feel some heat. I guarantee it's going to be very hot.
Let me ask you this. Speaking about heat, JC, I was thinking about this the other day. I don't know if I brought it, if I was talking on the program. Maybe I already said this to you or somewhere else. You've been watching the news. Obviously, it's 120 degrees with the heat index and wherever, right? How hot do you think it's going to be August 30th on the turf at noon in the horseshoe? I bet it's going to be 130 degrees on that turf.
I don't disagree at all. Absolutely.
I'm curious if it is, and you got well-conditioned athletes out there, and they're cramping or they're passing out or whatever. If do they start changing times because of the heat where nobody plays around noon?
I wish like hell they would. I don't know why. Well, I do know why. It's Fox, it's ESPN, but mostly in this case, it's Fox with their big noon garbage. And the thing is that absolutely nobody, I mean, except maybe some media members, want it. And yet that's what they do anyway. And it's not good. It's not healthy. It's not fun when you're sitting in the horseshoe and you're crammed up with 100,000 people. I'm just talking about the fans. The players, on the other hand, are going to be dropping like leaves off a tree. I think it's awful. I agree with you, QB. I don't think it makes any sense. Now, of course, they could get a break and it could be an overcast day, and then everybody on the TV, in the executive suite at the TV network say, screw you, here you are trying to predict the weather. So, but still, I don't think anybody wants a 12 o'clock kickoff. I don't think anybody does. The city doesn't want it. The businesses around town don't want it. The fans sure as hell don't usually like it. I think it's a 90-10 issue with people. I really do. I think it's a 90%, 10%.
Well, I guess I should say, not so worried about the players at the 130 degrees. It's going to be all the drunk people passing out.
I mean, but I mean, who the hell wants to start drinking at 8 o'clock in the morning at 45 years old in your life? I don't think that's fun.
Well, the students aren't 45. They'll be drinking. Okay. All right. So Ryan says on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Diploma, says, QB, I heard on Doring's podcast that 90% of the quarterbacks in the SEC had to play their backups. Backup quarterbacks for substantial minutes last year. I don't remember that.
But it wouldn't surprise you, would it?
That 90% of the SEC teams played their backup quarterbacks last year?
I mean, you can name a couple names right off the top of your head.
I can only think of one.
No, of course, Florida's didn't. But how about Garrett Nussmeier didn't play in every game? Neither did
he. Didn't?
No, and neither did Cook.
Who played at quarterback for LSU?
I don't know.
He threw for over 4,000 yards, JC. He didn't miss a game.
Maybe it was the Missouri kid then at the Tigers.
Well, he did, but Lenore Sellers played the whole year. The Alabama quarterback played the whole year. I guess Carson Beck went down at the last game of the year.
No, I think Sellers got hurt.
Okay, maybe so. I just don't remember it.
It wasn't a lot. And maybe I was wrong about Garrett Nussmeier, but I could have sworn I thought he stepped out a couple of games.
Well, you still threw for over 4,000 yards. You better play about every game to 4,000 yards.
That's true. That's a lot. That is a lot. I can tell you that, it's really amazing when you just mentioned Ohio State. Do you realize that they have lost their most recent game against 8 SEC teams? Can you name 4 of them?
Say that again.
It's hard for you at 809.
I don't know if you phrased it correctly.
I had to read it too. I had to read it twice too. Ohio State has lost their most recent game against the following SEC teams, meaning the last time they played these SEC teams, they lost.
Well, they lost their bowl game.
There were 8 of them. There were 8 SEC teams. There's 8. That to me is unbelievable because you've got teams that you would expect them to lose to, maybe Alabama, but they also lost the last time they played Florida, they lost. The last time they played Auburn, they lost. The last time they played Georgia, LSU. The last time they played Oklahoma, they lost. The last time they played Missouri, they lost. And the last time they played South Carolina, they lost. So they've lost 8 SEC schools the last time they played them. But they're running up the score on other teams. Now, granted, they were the best team in the country last year. But I'm going to tell you right now, and I believe this, they will not win a natty for the next 10 years. I don't think they will.
Ohio State?
Yep. I bet you they don't.
Oh. Kevin on the Titan No More text line from the 352 says Georgia Tech plays Colorado in 2 weeks and 2 days.
Yeah.
Is that the first game of the year?
I guess. But Tech's going to be damn good. Look, man, we're there. We're 2 weeks away, 2 weeks and 3 days. QB, how about this? How about this schedule on November 1st? So if you've got a friend, well, you'll be working. Well, no, wait. You'll be working in Jacksonville. But if any friend out there, people, if any folks out there watching this, if you have a friend that's getting married or doing something stupid like that on November the 1st, you tell them you're not around. Because if you love college football, this is what you'll be watching. You've got Penn State, Ohio State. You've got Oklahoma, Tennessee. You've got Florida, Georgia. You've got South Carolina, Mississippi. Good game. You've got Texas Tech, K-State, two potential winners of the Big 12. You got Arizona State, Iowa State, 2 more potential winners in the Big 12. And then you got Miami, SMU. There's a lot of points there possibly. So that's November 1st. Just thought I'd mention that because, man, I can't wait. I've been looking at the TV schedules for some of these games here in the next 6 weeks. It's going to be great, man. I love this. I'm the kind of guy that sits around and watches every game all day long until 3 a.m.
That's how I used to be.
I can't help it. I drink 5-hour energy. I stay awake. I'll walk around the house. I'll go out and hit some golf balls during in between games, and then I'm coming right back in and watching the next game. I got 3 TVs. I love it so much. This is my most favorite thing to watch in all the world. More than the World Series, more than the stupid Super Bowl, more than the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs. It's college football for me.
There's nothing like it. I meant to bring something up to you the other day, JC. I don't know if you saw these ratings from the NBA playoffs, finals,
that's
and
awful.
the NFL Hall of Fame game. Okay, finals compared to one silly exhibition game.
I'll bet you the Hall of Fame game had more.
So the NFL Hall of Fame game had 6.9 million viewers.
Oh my God.
The NBA playoffs finals only had 4.5 million.
Yeah, and yet all the talk shows you listen to syndicated nationally won't quit talking about NBA. That's all they talk about most of the time.
Geller Car Wash is locally owned by UF alum and the only car wash that provides NIL opportunities to Gator athletes. Locations on Northwest 13th Street, Williston Road, and coming soon to Jonesville.
Here's a running back getting $12 million a year. The Bills signed James Cook for $48 million over 4 years. That's a good payday for a running back. 12 mil. It's very good.
Yep. JC, you ready for the Peachland Dental BMW Championship picks?
This is in Maryland.
Correct.
At Cades Valley Golf Course. Second leg of the 2025 FedEx Cup. Top 50 are in it. Only the top 30 after this move on to Atlanta and the Tour Championship next week at East Lake and the big paycheck that comes with it. This is also the final week, folks, to automatically qualify for the Ryder Cup. And that is a month away a little more than a month away in September. So, yeah, I am ready. I mean, you're not going to let me take Scotty Scheffler. So
no, well, nobody. We haven't been able to pick him in a long time.
That's true. All right. Well, these guys are trying to, some of these guys at the bottom of the list are really trying to do two things. They're trying to move on to next week, and they're also trying to maybe automatically qualify for the U.S. team.
Well, the biggest thing is these 50 guys right here are all in the signatures. There's 8 signature events next year, which are enormous paydays.
They are enormous paydays. Spots. All right. Well, since I was a little higher than you last week, I will take Rory McIlroy.
All right, you can have Rory. I'm gonna go. I know nothing about this golf course. I don't
either. Well, Rory finished second in the standings behind Scheffler, who finished
I'm going to take the X-Man. Hell, he ain't winning, but he's always there.
Oh, Rory finished.
Rory didn't even play last week.
At 2021. Rory did not play. He didn't need to play last week. You're taking X. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll take the guy that I just think has been one of the best stories of the year, and that's JJ Spawn. The guy is just very, very consistent. Give me JJ.
I will
Number
go
3 in points.
with Cam Young's playing good. I'll take Cam Young.
He really is. He
used to be the worst putter on tour, and now he's pretty good.
Yeah, he's gotten that worked out, and that's just changed everything. It's amazing, isn't it? That really is all this golf is, man. I think at this level, with the way these guys hit the ball, I don't care about any other stuff off the green. It's you win these things on the greens and around the greens. That's it. And that's why Tommy Fleetwood just can't finish. So in that event, I think Andrew Novak is going to have a big week. So I'm going to take him to make it to the top 30. And, we'll see who wins this, but the top 30 is all they're really trying to finish in to get to Atlanta. So give me Andrew Novak.
I'll take Russell Henley.
Okay. And I'll go with, we're going to go with Justin Rose. I think his putting is clutch. I love the putting. I love the putters, man.
Oh, let's go with Akshay Bhatia.
Okay. And then I'm going to finish off my picks with okay. Kirk Kitayama has played his way into this. So Yeah, I'll take Kurt Kitayama. Tied for ninth. Got me a top 10 on Hard Rock last week. His game is turned up.
I will finish my fifth and final pick with Sanjay M. So recapping the Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's #1 choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte surrounding areas. Picks for the BMW Championship. JC has Rory McIlroy, JJ Spawn, Andrew Novak, Justin Rose, and Kurt Kitayama. I have Xander Schauffele, Cameron Young, Russell Henley, Akshay Bhatia, and Sanjay M. There you have it.
Okay, Sanjay M. That is
so take all those people to
automatic.
Win top 5, top 10, top 15, top 20, top 25, top 30.
All right, here's another interesting fact. You got him on Doring's show that you mentioned before the show. How about this one? At least one team, this is from Brett McMurphy. I like sharing these little missives from X. At least one team that started the season unranked finished in the top 10 in the AP final, in the final AP poll in 29 of the last 31 years. In 29 of the last 31 years, we've had an unranked team finish in the top 10. So which unranked team finishes in the top 10 this season?
Well, I don't know who's unranked.
Well, I mean, everybody.
I don't have the top 25.
Well, I mean, I think you can guess. I can tell you, like right now in the SEC, you can name most of the top 25 teams, right?
Well, I would say out of the SEC, the two teams that probably have an opportunity, and they may be ranked, I would go. I mean, they got to be dark horse, right? I would say Oklahoma or Auburn.
Yeah, that's what I would say. Yeah, Oklahoma's ranked 18th in the top.
They 25. Are.
Okay. Yeah, Oklahoma's ranked. But that, I mean, I get it. And your boy Mateer's in a little bit of trouble. He better clear that.
He's not in any trouble.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I saw a thing by I forgot who it was, says that it was supposedly it was a joke because when you lose money on golf, what his problem was is his Venmo is public. If you owe somebody money for golf, do you just say golf? You usually put something silly in there. That's just how guys. So anyway,
well, this one
he wasn't even playing. It doesn't matter.
It matters. If he's found to have bet on FanDuel or any of this other stuff, I don't know if they like that.
But they may not like it, but I don't know. I mean, I don't think it's a big deal. He will be playing, trust me.
All right.
This day in sports brought to you by Campus USA Credit Union. Put some star power to work in your financial life. We're proud member Steve Spurrier Banks. In 1919, the Green Bay Packers football club was founded by George Calhoun and a dude named Curly Lambeau.
Yeah.
And is named after sponsor. Do you know where they got their name from, JC, the Packers?
No.
Right now.
I don't, QB.
Well, do you know what Packers means? Or where
it's something like they pack the meat in the packages and send it off.
From the Indian Packing Company.
Yes. Okay. These are great things. I don't know if I could get through the rest of my day if I didn't know this.
Well, you learn a lot on this program.
You really do. I think Vanderbilt's going to be a dark horse team that's going to.
I don't. Andy says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel. Shane, what do you think about Archie talking about Arch won't be coming out the 2026 draft? Look, the Manning family, Arch will be their quarterback next year.
I believe him.
He wins the Heisman Trophy.
Yeah, I believe him. I believe that he will do what his Uncle Peyton did, and I think that that means play it out. The money is never going to be a problem with that family, and certainly
no, because think about all the money they get from MGM.
I mean, they get so much money. These Mannings, and listen, they deserve every penny they get. They've been great for football. They've been great off the field for football. They've been great in every sense of the word, the Mannings. And Arch he's a part of it, and that's good. It represents Cooper's side of the family, which is nice to see finally, because Cooper was the first football player in that family. But
he sure was.
He didn't get
wide receiver.
Yeah, but he didn't get to play at the big level. So I think speaking of Texas, the SEC didn't hurt them at all with the scheduling. When you want to make comparisons, look at Mississippi State last year, at Texas, at Georgia, at Tennessee, at Ole Miss. They play those four teams again, including Florida. This year, of course, they flip-flopped the venues, but Texas really had on the road last year a very simple and very easy path, and I think that was by design. At Arkansas, at A&M, at Vanderbilt, those were not necessarily difficult games, even though you can make a case for Texas A&M being a big rival. But boy, Mississippi State, man, that schedule is. I don't know. You said that's not the hardest schedule in the country. I think it's right up there in the top 5.
Who, Mississippi State?
Yeah.
Well, I said Mississippi State, Oklahoma, and Florida. I thought had the best,
Yeah.
hardest schedules.
It's incredible. And Florida, certainly. Yeah, no doubt about it. Guess why you got to stay healthy, man. Got to stay healthy through practice, QB. That's my only thing I care about as far as practice goes. You guys can talk about who threw the great pass and who did this and who did that. That practice is all part of. They know what they're doing to get ready. Okay, great. When they play, that's all that matters, and I want them to be healthy. That's the thing for me.
Well, I will say this. I say it every time on this program. There's not one team that will run out of the tunnel on August 30th that's going to be healthy.
That's true. But, I mean, the key players have to be out there, man. You got to. That's just all there is to it. All these totals bets that everybody's making, which are bad plays, you don't bet on win-loss totals and let somebody hold your money for 4 months. Futures bets suck. Don't do it. But they can get turned upside down. Look at the Rams right now. Everybody's losing their mind about Matt Stafford. The Rams are picked to win the NFC West, a 9.5 over-under total. Without Matt Stafford, I don't know how you get to 10 wins. I don't care who they are. So I know Stetson Bennett's looked great in the preseason. He has. And Jimmy Garoppolo has a pass in the NFL of success. But without Matt Stafford, that's the thing. These futures bets are they're bad ideas. I wouldn't do it.
What's wrong with Stafford?
What's wrong with Stafford? The big news in Stafford's world is his herniated disc issues and the back issues he's having. The back issue is the worst injury you can get. I mean, leg injury is obvious, but back injuries, man, they shut everything down. You can get away with a meniscus issue, maybe, but a back issue, forget it. You know that, QB. You're the guy with the chronic back pain. Every week I see you, your back is hurting you. So you're at least able to function. In this case, let some 37-year-old quarterback get hit by an edge rusher who's 21 at full speed, and that back issue gets worse. And that's what could happen. So that's why you don't bet over-unders and these long 3-4 month long futures bets. You stay away from those. That's my philosophy. Some people love doing it, though. But you get nothing for giving your money to someone else. You get nothing in return. There is no portfolio here. There's no return on investment. You have to wait to whether you win or lose. And you could win the bet before the season's over. Certainly, they will pay you out if you go over the total before the year is over. But it's a long time to wait. I don't ever do those.
Andrew on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel, said, "What happened to Mertz in preseason? 3 interception. Trask looked sharp." I guess he didn't play well. I didn't see it. I think too many people put too much stock into preseason games.
I mean, QB, I like you. I can't even watch. I barely.
Because I guess because I experienced it. Like I said, I was talking when I was with the media boys the other day, because Mark covers the Jaguars.
Yeah.
He said, now, I don't know if this was off the record, on the record, or whatever.
I don't think Mark will really care. Go ahead.
He probably doesn't, because he said that the Jaguars already know what 50 players. There's only 3 roster spots that the entire team is battling for to get on the 53-man roster.
Yeah, I don't think that.
I think here's what the preseason is for. Preseason is for the owners to make money.
Yeah,
because they're not paying the players. I mean, they're getting $800 to $1,000 a week, but you don't start getting your contracts till the regular season starts. So they're making their money off the fans at the concession stand, buying the tickets. But the coaches, it really does not matter how you perform in the most part, because they know who they want on the team.
I agree with that. A couple of things on YouTube. Matt Scheck, do the Yankees still have a dress code? Matt, I think they do, but it's a lot more liberal now. You're able to have hair, facial hair. You know what? The Yankees are collapsing. Now they have beat up on the Twins here recently, but they're 6 games behind. They're just trying to get a wild card. Here's Michael Schneider. November 1st is my birthday. Attaboy, Michael. You'd probably be at the game in Jacksonville watching Florida beat Georgia. How about this? Get you a double shot of espresso and leave that 5-hour energy alone. That's Brent English. QB, 5-hour energy has kept me from yawning for the last 15 years. I'm still walking. But thank you, Brent. And then Barone, 71. I'm right there with you on college football. It's true, man. This is the best time of year. It's a shame that it only lasts 3 or 4 months out of the year. That's 1/3 of the year. But we do love it. It's the best time of year. And it's what you and I have grown up with, QB. This is our thing. This is our thing. You got to play it, and you were good enough to play it, and I was good enough to report on it. I was good enough to hold a microphone and get a press pass and be on the sideline, baby. I'll never forget a pass you threw to Harrison Houston. Go route down the sideline at Florida Field. You were on the 45-yard line. You just dropped back 5 steps, and he just took off. And I'm saying, oh, God, here comes the ball. And that son of a gun floated right at me, QB. I could have caught it, and he grabbed it right there.
What game was this, JC?
It was a game in the swamp that you did not lose, obviously. And he caught it. I think it was Harrison Houston, but he caught the ball on the run, perfect stride, at the 5-yard line, right in front of me. And guess what? The idiot shooting the video did not have the camera running.
Well,
oh, man, did I raise hell after that play. I was the only unhappy person in the stadium after that happened. But gosh, that was pretty to watch. I'll never forget that. See, that damn that 9 guy, he throws a pretty ball. Doesn't go very far, but boy, is it pretty.
Doesn't go very far.
But it was pretty.
You don't have to ever throw a ball over 50 yards in a game unless it's a damn Hail Mary.
It had to be 40 yards. It had to be 45 yards. Maybe it was only 35 yards, but it was a beautiful play. I'll never forget it, but I'm pretty sure it was Houston.
Swamp Fuel on YouTube, brought to you by Qualpa, says, do you think the Gators rely on defense more this season? I'm telling you right now.
Oh, Swamp Fuel.
The Gator defense does not play well. We ain't going to win a bunch of games. They are the key to the season, in my opinion.
That and the quarterback.
Yeah, but I think even if the other guys have to play, I think we're going to be able to run the ball well enough.
I think a big year's coming from Miles Graham. I do. And I think a big year's coming from Devin Moore. I do. And I think a big year's coming from Sapp on the up front. I do. Those are my 3 guys.
Art says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mellon, back-to-back natties. What's your opinion, Shane? I guess somebody said here's the Big Ten, the #1 conference as we speak.
My God, they've won 2 championships in the last 35 some odd years, it seems like, in a row. And you're ready to just go ahead. And listen, that conference is very top heavy. There's 18 teams. Now, to their credit, they play 9 games. One of these days, these guys in the SEC will do that. Because to me, if you don't play somebody within 6 years, you're not really a conference. You're just an association.
JC, we got to get to Mark
Schlabach
from ESPN.
Ask Mark what he thinks they'll play 9 games. I think that's an important question.
That's JC. Join us on the Titan More Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Tent. We'll take a quick time out, come back. We'll be joined by Mark Schlabach from ESPN. You're watching and listening to PodUp with Matthews in the Morning from the International Diamond Center Studios. We'll be right back.
Our premium sponsors are Campus USA Credit Union,
International Diamond Center,
Meldon Law, QC Kinetics, UF Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute, JF Hayden Craft Liqueurs, Florida Cracker Kitchen, Los Linderos Tequila. Gridiron sponsors are Baker Sporting Goods, Comfort Temp, Electronics World, Florida Victorious, Gallo Car Wash, Miapa Latin Cafe, Peachland Dental, Quality Plumbing, Ruse Ogre State Farm, Silverback Concrete, 84 Lumber, Big Mills Cheesesteak, Celebrate Primary Care, Dowling Sign, Gator Bait Media, Gator Dominoes, Ironwood Golf Course, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, UF Bookstores, Nest and Wow, MG&A Wealth Management. Watch and listen to us live on Facebook and YouTube. Listen to the podcast whenever on Apple or Google Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. To become a sponsor, call my man Freddie at 352-284-3733.
Naysayers. Setbacks. Injuries. Life throws a lot of hurdles your way. The key is just keep jumping them.
Coach, you know what always impressed me? How you beat Florida State to win the 1996 National Championship.
And I was really impressed with your 06, 08, and 09 Gator teams.
And the way you coached Danny to the Heisman Trophy.
A lot like what you did with Tim Tebow.
You know, you won more SEC championships than you lost home games at the Swamp.
And you had plenty of super games in front of our Gator Nation.
Yeah, there really is something special about the Swamp.
I guess that's why we say about the Swamp, only the Gators get out alive.
To the Swamp and the Gators, with the best beverage served at Spur's Gridiron Grill, 100% agave, Los Landeros tequila, aged in bourbon barrels for a smoother taste.
I think you mean Head Beer Coach 1966 lager, a crisp, light, bodied lager for easy drinking.
Nope. Los Landeros tequila, smooth enough to drink neat and bold enough to elevate a cocktail.
1966 lager, enjoyed on game days in the fall or whenever you need a winning cold brew.
Los Landeros tequila.
1966 lager.
Los Landeros.
1966 lager.
Y'all stop bickering.
Okay, you're both wrong anyway. The best thing Spurrier's Gridiron Grill offers are Jerry's famous chocolate chip cookies.
Welcome back to the International Diamond Center Studios. Miapa Latin Cafe is proud to support Gator Nation for 22 years. New location open in Alachua. New building, same great food served with a smile. Check out one of our 5 locations today. That's Miapa Latin Cafe. Back to the Titan More Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Tent. We're joined by ESPN's Mark Schlabach. Good morning, Mark. How you doing, bud?
Good, Shane. How you doing?
Doing well. Before we jump into college football, you were up in getting ready to cover the BMW Championship for ESPN. You picking Scotty Scheffler to win?
I think I picked Scotty Scheffler every week. No, he's not going to have his caddy with him for the second straight week, which I don't think will affect him too much. But he shot 67 last Sunday in Memphis.
Yeah,
tied for third. I mean, for that guy with the level of consistency he has, anything outside the top 5's a little bit of a disappointment. But with the way he's putting now, he's pretty damn tough to beat.
he is. All right, let's switch to college football. Let's start with your school. You're a Georgia grad. Not the kind of season they wanted last year, even though they went deep into the playoffs once again. I don't know what to make of Georgia this year because they don't really have that star power, the names that people recognize across the country. Just your thoughts on how you think the season will go for the Dogs.
Yeah, I mean, Kirby's set the bar so high. It's like if you don't reach the national title game or win one now, it's a disappointment, even though they, won an SEC championship last year and made the playoff, lost in the first round after losing Carson back. But I mean, I think it's like a lot of SEC teams. It's going to roll down to how well Gunnar Stockton handles the responsibility of being the everyday starting quarterback. I know Mike Bobo, the offensive coordinator, and Kirby got a lot of confidence in him. He's a kid from small school up in North Georgia. Broke Trevor Lawrence's passing touchdown record. I think he broke Herschel or somebody's rushing touchdown record at a small school. So seems to be a kid that teammates like, works hard, puts his head down, runs. But they got to play better on the offensive line, ranked next to last in the SEC in rushing last year, lowest totals in Kirby's tenure. Defensively, got to tackle better. They think they've upgraded the receiver core with Zachariah Branch from USC, Noah Thomas, a big kid out of Texas A&M. So they should be a little more consistent in the receiver core. I think they led FBS in drop passes last year. So
they did.
Not a typical Kirby team last year. They made a lot of mistakes. They didn't tackle well. But, you said it, everybody's saying it. They don't have a lot of star power, but still got a lot of top 5 recruiting classes and 5-star recruits on campus. Just a bunch of young kids. They're going to have to step up.
Andy's question for you on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mellon Law. He says, what conference will have the most teams in this year's college football playoffs, the Big Ten or the SEC?
I went with the SEC. I don't have my notes in front of me. We got bowl projections running Friday. I had Texas, Georgia, Alabama, and LSU. Making it LSU was my 4th team. Out of the Big Ten, I had Ohio State, Penn State, and who am I missing? Oregon.
Indiana?
Although I tell you what, Oregon's got. I was just reading this morning. Oregon's pretty thin at receiver, and Evan Stewart got hurt during the summer. Illinois brings back a bunch of guys. it could be a little bit of a sleeper. I think they're probably a top 15 team. But I'll go with the SEC right now.
Yeah. Let's talk about Florida real quick. How do you think their season is going to go? I mean, they ended the season 4 straight wins over, one over Ole Miss and LSU. Obviously, everybody's talking about the injuries to DJ Lagway. We don't know what's going to happen there, but just what you saw, how Florida ended the season and going into this season, what do you think of the Gators?
I mean, if he's healthy, they're going to be a tough out. Whether or not they're an SEC title contender or a playoff contender, I don't know. That schedule is just so hard. What are they playing? 6 ranked teams at the
6 or
beginning of the
7,
season?
something like that. Yeah.
7. I mean, it's unbelievable. I think I like what Scott Strickland did last year, going ahead and coming out and saying Billy's our guy. I think you're going to see teams hang on the head coaches more and more, just because of the cost of buying them out and then having to rebuild your roster through the portal once everybody leaves. Dallas Wilson and the other freshman receiver, I think are going to be really good players for him. Baker, they can run the ball. I think offensively they'll be fine. We'll just, see how Lagway holds up, because he's already had some ailments during camp. And as we saw in the Georgia game last year, you don't want to roll out a walk-on quarterback to play in the SEC.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Obviously, a lot of people have Texas as #1 team in America. Sark's done a tremendous job rebuilding that program. When I called the game last year in Austin, I thought they were one of the fastest teams I've ever seen in college football. It just blew me away. I can't figure out why so many people that come on my program or around the country, it's all about Arch Manning. They don't think he's a very good player for whatever. They think it's just he's getting the hype because of the name. I think he's pretty damn talented. I think he's more talented than his 2 uncles personally. We don't know how it's going to turn out. But when you look at Texas, you saw him play against Georgia in the SEC championship game. You've seen him a lot. Is Texas the best team in your opinion in America?
I look on Arch Manning. I covered a couple of his games at Isidore Newman in New Orleans. If you've ever been there, smaller private school in the Garden District, right next to a cemetery with those above ground tombs, which has always been weird to me. But I remember there was a guy on the sideline asked me, "How do you know if he's any good playing this level of competition?" I was like, "Well, he's 6'4", he's 200 pounds, and his last name's Manning. I think I'd take my chances." They did not do a good job of protecting Ewers at times last year, especially against Georgia. I think they give up 7 or 8 sacks in both those games in the regular season, and then in the SEC championship game, they lose Kelvin Banks. The biggest thing to me, they lose Matthew Golden and Isaiah Bond, who made Ewers look like a serviceable quarterback because they were so damn good. The tailback's really good, Wisner. Defensively, they bring back some guys, but like Georgia, they lost a ton of guys on the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. So we'll see. I went back and watched SEC championship game and their playoff game. And as good as Sark is, I think he gets outside of his head a little bit in the red zone and tries to get a little too cute. And I think if he'd kind of run the ball inside the 10-yard line against Georgia in the SEC championship game, they'd probably win that game. So we'll see. I think Arch is going to be fine. Is he going to be a Heisman contender in year 1? We'll see. It's either them. I think Bama's the sleeper. As much as Bama can be a sleeper, I think they could be the most talented team coming back in the league if Ty Simpson, can step in there and not turn the ball over and get the ball down the field, which Jalen Milroe didn't do at times last year, didn't do enough last year. I think DeBoer's a heck of a football coach. He's been a winner everywhere he's been. Anybody stepping into that role last year was going to struggle. Losing to Vanderbilt probably wasn't what they had in mind, but you're going to have some setbacks and some oddities in the first year of a transition, especially replacing a guy like Nick Saban.
Somebody on my program asked this question a couple of months ago, and I've asked different people that come on. They said, what coach in the SEC is more on the hot seat? And it was between Napier, Hugh Freeze, and Brian Kelly.
Can we throw Sam Pittman in there as well?
Yeah, but it's
he's already
Arkansas.
on it. Man, that's a good one. I don't think it's Kelly because they owe him so much money. I'd say probably Hugh.
Yeah.
Because he played more golf this summer, and Auburn tends to get rid of coaches quicker than anybody else. I can't figure out what Auburn's going to do because he's obviously upgraded the talent. Eric Singleton Jr., the transfer from Georgia Tech, is one of my favorite players. They brought in Horatio Fields from Wake Forest at receiver too, bringing back Cam Coleman, who was fantastic as a freshman. But Jackson Arnold was so bad at Oklahoma, and he played better down the stretch. But even when they beat Alabama, he threw for like 120 yards or something. So, if you can rebuild his confidence and get him playing better, they'll have a chance. But, really young on the offensive line or playing with a bunch of transfers on the offensive line, that's tough to do.
Yeah, when you look, I think Auburn, they can't be any worse than they were on offense last year, in my opinion. Yeah. I mean, Jackson Arnold's got to help them. You would think he was a highly recruited kid, but I'm with you. I love the Gators receiving core because I see them a lot, but that damn receiving core that Auburn has could be the best in America. We talked about LSU briefly. Some people are picking them to maybe win the national title with Garrett Nussmeier back. They brought in a lot of portal guys. Just your thoughts on LSU. Things have not started good week one, and they played the Clemson Tigers. How you see it playing out this year for LSU?
Yeah, probably spent more money than anybody but Texas Tech in the portal. Got Pyburn from Florida, of course. Brought in some receivers to help. Barron Brown from Kentucky is a really good player. I think Nussmeier, if they can protect him a little bit more and he can make better decisions, I think he's got a chance to maybe be the best quarterback in the league, if not the FBS. Threw for like 40 touchdowns last year. Aaron Anderson's really good. They've had some issues in camp with some guys getting arrested and other things, but I don't know why Brian Kelly came out and said we're the real Death Valley or whatever, when they've lost 6 or 7 openers in a row. It's just they put himself behind the 8 ball every season, it seems like, and losing to a what ended up being a really bad Florida State team a couple of years ago. Need to beat Clemson week one to really establish themselves, and I think Clemson might be the best team in the country, so it's going to be a huge challenge.
Silverback Concrete builds firm foundations for generations. You stand on it, we stand by it. A few more minutes with Mark Schlabach from ESPN here on the Titan More Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. So let's just look at the national picture. Today, who does Mark Schlabach have in his Final Four, and who you have playing for the national title? Or am I giving away like some article you got coming out?
It's coming out, but I've had it out before. I've got Clemson, Texas, Georgia, and Penn State in the top 4, I think. Maybe it's a coin toss between Penn State and Ohio State. I've got more confidence in Ryan Day, but Penn State's bringing back more established talent. Everybody can talk about James Franklin not winning the big one, but that was a pretty damn good football team last year. Drew Aller's got to do a better job of getting the ball down the field. They had to get better at receiver. Brought in the kid from Troy. His name escapes me. Ross, really good player. Georgia, a lot of people wanted him. 2 really good tailbacks. Defensive line coming back, and they just got to somehow figure out how to beat Ohio State. Clemson, Cade Klubnik, their quarterback, was probably the most improved quarterback in the country last year. His second year in Garrett Riley's system, he looked a lot more comfortable. Antonio Williams, fantastic receiver. The other receiver they had, the freshman, is a really good player, Bryant Wesco. Probably the best defensive line in the country. I think our guys have 4, maybe even 5 potential first-round picks on that roster. So a lot of talent. Dabo's, I criticize the hell out of him last year when Georgia drilled him, and they came back and proved me wrong. You know, he's a guy that hadn't taken many guys at all out of the transfer portal, but he's going to do it his way, and right now it's working.
Yep, for sure. What are your thoughts on the SEC going to 9 games? Will that happen?
Yeah, but I don't. It's not going to be because the Big Ten is going to pressure them into doing it, right? You know, if anything, I think Greg Sankey won't do it just to prove a point to the Big Ten. It's difficult because Florida plays Florida State, Georgia plays Georgia Tech, Clemson plays South Carolina. You know, I don't want those games to go away. Those are so important, just in terms of the tradition of the sport. But yeah, I don't know. I think, you know, could we do away with Georgia playing Austin Peay and Florida playing Samford? Probably, but it also gives you a chance to catch your breath, get healthy late in the year, and keep those programs afloat financially. So we'll see.
All right, last thing before we get you out of here. Obviously, this is the last year. Got a 2-year break. Florida, Georgia got to move to Atlanta to Tampa. Do you like that, or were you hoping that it would go home and home?
I get tired of driving down there. I mean, for Georgia's sake, I hope it goes better than the last time they went to the on-site campuses. Were you at that? Did you play in that game in
No, I'd already graduated
I
when they
thought
went
so.
home and
I
home.
can't remember who.
It was Danny.
Was it Danny?
Yeah.
I was walking off the field with Spurrier. I was still in college, and Tony Barnhart was in charge of college football, and he put me in charge of writing a sidebar on Spurrier that day. And Coach Spurrier was walking off the field, and some guy, Georgia fan, was hanging over the railing and had like a big 7-Eleven cup. Well, lo and behold, it's full of tobacco spit. Throws it at Spurrier. Spurrier ducks, hits me right in the shoulder. I can't repeat what he yelled at Spurrier.
Yeah, no doubt. Real quick, speaking of Tony Barnhart, we had a little celebration for him. He's retiring after 50 years of covering college football. Was he someone that you looked up to, kind of taught you the business?
He's the guy. He was the first guy to hire me. I was in college. I had shoulder-length hair and a full beard, and him and the sports editor showed up at Georgia's football practice one time, and I was already working for him, and I don't think he recognized me. But he hired me part-time and then hired me full-time when I got out of college, and I was with him for 10 years. But him and his wife Maria, I must have called his house 4 times a day when I was a 20-year-old reporter, didn't know what the hell I was doing. And Tony had enough patience to answer the phone and answer my questions. But he was, him and a couple other people played the biggest role and get me where I am. That's for sure.
That's good stuff.
We're still good friends.
Mark, let everybody know. Obviously, they can follow you on ESPN.com, but you got a Twitter handle or any of that kind of stuff they can follow you at?
I haven't tweeted in 7 years, which is why I've been at ESPN for 19. Smart man, stay off social media.
Smart man, smart man. Mark, appreciate your time. Enjoy the golf this weekend and enjoy college football. We'll see you around, my man.
Thanks for having me, Shane. Good to see you.
That's Mark Schlabach from ESPN.com. Join us on the Titan Tomorrow hotline, courtesy of Comfort 10. QC Kinetics for long-lasting relief, no surgery, drugs, or downtime. Schedule your free consultation at QC Kinetics. That's going to do it for today's program. I want to thank Mark and JC for joining us. Dan says that's why HBC hung 50 on them in Athens. Yeah. Well, I wish they were going home and home after this year, because I've never been to a game in Athens. I'd love to do that, but we'll be in the Mercedes-Benz Dome and we'll be playing down in Tampa. So still should be pretty fun. Have a great day, folks out there. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care.